Hello girls, by the time you watch this, there will only be 21 days until Christmas. By the time I post this, it will also be the birthday of a very good friend of mine, Rita Yo. Happy birthday, Rita Yo. Thanks, Katie. I'm glad you liked my last video. It took about 5 minutes to film and all of 10 to 15 minutes to edit. Once I got to some editing software that made any logical sense at all, unlike iMovie 9, which made me cry. I tell you this not to make you jealous, but to help you understand the fail that was my NaNoWriMo. I'm a very visual thinker. I retain a lot of knowledge through lecture, but I think in pictures. So when I have scenes in my head, they're all I want to write, and I don't want to write the bits in between, which is where I am right now and where I stayed for an entire year after last year's NaNoWriMo. So all in all, my NaNoWriMo ended up at about 7,500 words. That's about 7,500 words short of my 15,000 word goal. Speaking of NaNoWriMo, I have this kind of curse. Whenever I sort of start writing really well, I get another idea, and that one has to be written immediately. So now I have about 2,000 words of one thing, and about 7,000 to 10,000 words of the thing I was originally writing. And what usually happens here is I find out the thing that I've been writing sucks a lot, and the one that I have now is really good, but I still like them both. By the way, the new thing that I'm writing, it's very nerd-fightery. Are we gonna share any of the things we write here? I would like to hear the things that you guys wrote for NaNoWriMo. Janet, I'm glad you won, and I'm glad you didn't die of caffeine poisoning. Katie, I'm glad you reached your goal. Amanda, I'm sorry you didn't reach your goal, but you got much farther than I did. The other girl in my last video is my cousin Sam. Sam, you're awesome. That was the day of her 18th birthday. Woo! I was indeed in Connecticut for my cousin's wedding, and so was Sam because it is also her cousin. The way her sister introduced us to people was, this is my sister Sam and this is my cousin Jessie. They don't look alike, but they're the same person. Speaking of the wedding, what you're about to hear, because I don't know how to extract audio in Windows Movie Maker, so I can't just do a voiceover, which is what I really want to do, is the recessional that my cousin Heather and her new husband Kyle walked down the aisle to. Yes, that's right. All you need is love. If people who live in Narnia are Narnians and people who live in Ethiopia are Ethiopians, then why aren't people who live in Nerdfighteria Nerdfightarians? Chronicles of Narnia: The Voyage of the Dawn Treader comes out on the 10th, I believe, and I'm excited because out of the books in the series, I have two favorites. They are tied for first place, and it is The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, which is 5th in the series chronologically, 3rd in the series publication, and The Magician's Nephew, which is 1st in the series chronologically and 6th publication. Sometimes I wish that I'd read them in publication order before I read them in chronological order, because I love when people who write in a way that I love, writing a story that I love, write a prequel to stories that I already love, and tell me just a little bit more about the world that they've already created. By the way, J.K. Rowling, I wouldn't mind if you decided to do that, because J.K. totally watches this channel. This month is also going to be a little busy for me because I'm participating in Noana Pot for Sibhamo, or National Write-In episode of the fan series It's Been Half a Year month. Amanda, I can't believe you started with 11! I mean, I guess it's not as bad as if you'd started with 10, because then you would have been in the middle of a very awesome storyline. But still, I think you should have started with 9. Katie, do you watch Doctor Who? Have you ever watched Doctor Who? Proposed rule number 1. We set word count and life goals. If they're not achieved by the next scheduled vlog, the other 3 girls get to issue a challenge. I think we should give challenges instead of punishments, because punishment has kind of a spiteful connotation, and challenge makes it sound like you're trying to help. And I think that we're less spiteful for spiteful's sake than the Green brothers are to each other, so I think that challenges will work better than punishments, because I don't know if I could ever actually punish you guys the way that they punish each other. Proposed rule number 2. I like time limits. They make you have to be concise and creative. I propose that we have a minimum time limit and a maximum time limit. And if you do not fall within the correct window, challenge. In the spirit of my first proposed rule, these are my goals for this week. 1. Word count goal. I'm going to write 2,000 words of either novel that I started writing in NaNoWriMo. 2nd word count goal. I'm going to at least write the outline treatment for my first episode of Janet's fan series. She can tell you more about it in her Tuesday video if she wants to. 3rd, life goal. I'm going to make and post at least 2 flyers for the inaugural meeting of the Calvert County chapter of the HPA that Janet and I are starting. To close out, this is a picture of an expiration date on the bottom of a can that I took a picture of a few months ago, and my mother's comment on it was, It should say use by. Good night, girls. See you on Tuesday, Janet. Actually, see you tomorrow, Janet, but see you on the internet Tuesday. Look, girls, it's daiquiri time!